The neon lights of District 9 flickered like dying stars. The city never slept, and neither did its secrets. Hidden among the clubs, smoke, and noise stood a quiet building with a red symbol on the door, Zalari Girls Available. No questions asked. No names required. James walked in. He didn't look like the usual customers. No gold chains, no fake smile. Just quiet eyes and tired hands. He slid a credit chip across the counter. "One night," he said. The alien at the desk, a man with silver skin and no lips, scanned the chip. "Room 7, she's new. Don't break her." James didn't reply. When the door to room 7 opened, she was already standing. Tall, slim, skin like soft glass under moonlight. Her black hair shimmered like ink in water, eyes glowing violet. The girl looked young but tired, like someone who had seen too much too fast. "You're my renter?" she asked in a soft voice. James nodded. "Yeah." She tilted her head. "You may do what you want." He looked at her, then did something strange. He sat down on the floor and pulled out a wrapped sandwich. "Hungry?" She blinked. No one had ever offered her food before. Slowly, she stepped forward and took it. Her hands shook. She sat on the edge of the bed, unwrapped it, and ate like she hadn't eaten in days. "What's your name?" he asked. "They call me Leary." "Do you like that name?" "No," she said. "But it's the only one I have." James nodded. "You can have a different one." She paused. "You're not like the others." "No," he said. "I'm not here for that." "Then, why did you rent me?" He looked away, then back at her. "I wanted to know why a girl like you ends up here." She laughed, but it wasn't happy. "Because I'm not human. Because I glow. Because I can't fight back." Silence settled between them like dust. "I used to dream," Leary said suddenly. "Of flying, of living. But those dreams were sold." "To who?" "To men like you." James didn't react. "Then why are you still here?" Her face hardened. "Because escape is a lie. They track us. They hurt those who try." James stood up and walked to the window. What if someone helped? They'd die. He turned and looked at her. "Then maybe I'll die." For a moment, her glowing eyes softened. "Why are you being kind to me?" "Because you deserve it." No one had ever said that to her before. That night, she curled up on the bed, holding the sandwich wrapper like it was treasure. James sat on the floor, back against the door, guarding her. She didn't sleep at first. She watched him. Every breath, every blink, waiting for him to change. Waiting for him to become like the others. He didn't. "Can I tell you a secret?" She whispered in the dark. "Sure. I'm not just a girl. I'm something more. That's why they rent me so high." James didn't move. "What are you?" She rolled over, face to the wall. "A healer." "A healer?" "Yes," she sighed. "I can heal with a touch. But if I do, they find out. And they punish me." James felt a chill run down his spine. Not from fear, but anger. "Have you healed anyone?" "Only once, a child. And they broke my arm for it." He clenched his fists. "That's sick." "It's life," she said. "And I stopped trying to change it." But James hadn't. At sunrise, the hallway buzzed. Renters leaving. Guards arriving. Time was up. I stood by the door, waiting for him to open it. "You'll leave and forget me, like they all do." James shook his head. "No, what will you do?" He leaned closer and whispered, "I'll come back. But next time, I'm not renting you." She frowned. "Then what?" He smiled gently. "I'm buying you." Her mouth fell open. "You don't even know what that means." "I'll find out," he said. "You deserve more than this room." Before she could reply, he opened the door and walked out. The guards didn't even glance at him. Just another renter leaving. But Leary stood in the doorway, heart pounding, hands shaking. And for the first time in years, she hoped. One night was all she was supposed to be. But James couldn't sleep. Not after what he had heard. Not after what he had seen in Leary's eyes. He had met soldiers, killers, liars. But never someone like her. Gentle, scared, still, trying to be kind in a world that used her. The next morning, James wasn't at work. He was in the underground district where laws disappeared in credits, ruled everything. He found the dealer who sold contracts. The kind who trafficked alien girls like meat. "I want to buy her," James said. The dealer, a fat human with gold rings and a cybernetic jaw, looked amused. "Which one?" "The Zolari girl, Leary." The dealer laughed. "She's a hot item." No refunds, no sympathy. James put a black chip on the table. "Everything I've saved." The man stared at the chip, then back at James. "You serious?" "Yes." The dealer's smile faded. "Someone like you doesn't belong in this world. Walk away." James didn single quotes T. Hours later, in a quiet alley, James waited. The contract was being delivered. That's how these things work, dirty and fast. But the man who came wasn't the usual runner. He wore dark armor. His face was hidden. And he didn't speak. James's instincts kicked in too late. The man attacked. A flash of light. A blade through James's side. Blood poured onto the concrete. The man leaned down, whispering, "You shouldn't have tried to own what isn't yours." But before the second strike landed, a scream echoed from behind. Leary appeared. She wasn't supposed to be here. Her violet eyes glowed bright white. The armored man froze. "You used your power." Leary stepped forward, voice trembling. "Let him go, or I'll show you what I really am." "You're not a weapon," the man growled. "I wasn't," she said. "But I'm done being prey." She touched the ground. Light rippled from her hands like waves. The man backed up, but too slow. A blast of force hit him like a hammer, sending him flying into the wall. Silence. Lir. I dropped to her knees beside James. His eyes fluttered. "I told you not to come." She pressed her hands to his chest. "And let you die?" "After everything?" A soft glow spread across his wounds. The bleeding stopped. The skin began to heal. James gasped, life rushing back into him. "You healed me." Leary's hands shook. "I shouldn't have." "Now they'll come." "Who?" "My people, the council. The humans who track us, the ones who buy us, everyone." James sat up slowly. "Then let them." "You don't get it," she said. "I'm not just some rental girl. I'm a living weapon. And I just broke the rule that kept me hidden." They didn't go back to the city. They ran through old subway tunnels, past closed markets, into the edge of the neutral zone, where humans and aliens lived in shadows, forgotten by governments. In a safe house, James bandaged his ribs while Leary sat in silence. "Why did you really come for me?" she asked. "I told you," he said. "You deserve more." "That's not the real reason." He looked at her. "Because I saw you." "Saw what?" He paused. "A soul, a broken one, but still trying. Still strong." Leary looked away, blinking. "Fast, don't fall in love with me." "I'm not," he said. She looked at him. "I already did." Outside, in the dark city, a tracker found the blood-stained alley, scanned it, noted the energy burst on the wall. "Target used forbidden's ability," the tracker reported. "Authorization to engage both alien and human." He paused, then smiled beneath his mask. "This just got interesting." The room was dark. Leary stood in the corner, staring at her hands like they didn't belong to her. Her fingers still glowed faintly from the energy she used to heal James. She whispered to herself, "I wasn't supposed to do that. Not again." James sat on the floor across from her, ribs wrapped in cloth, still alive because of her touch. "You saved my life," he said quietly. Leary didn't answer. He leaned forward. "You've done this before, haven't you?" She nodded once. "A child," she whispered. "She was dying. I healed her." The guards came 10 minutes later. They said I'd broken my contract. What did they do? They made me watch them beat her father. He hadn't done anything. Except let me help. James's jaw clenched. Your power is healing, and they treat it like a crime? They say it unbalances the market. Makes humans too dependent. They call it unnatural. And what do you call it? She looked up at him. Her eyes weren't glowing now. They looked human. I call it mine. Later that night, Leary walked to the edge of the rooftop. The wind pulled at her hair. Below, the city moved like a giant machine, loud, dirty, uncaring. James joined her. You're afraid of what's inside you, he said. I'm afraid of what will happen when I stop hiding it. She turned to him. There's something I haven't told you. More secrets? She gave a weak smile. I didn't just heal you. I connected to you. His brow furrowed. What does that mean? In my species, healing creates a bond. Our energy links for a short time. We can feel each other, think together, sometimes dream together. James stepped back slightly. Are you saying you can hear my thoughts? No, she said, but I can feel them. I know what you're scared of, what you hope, what you feel. For me. James looked away. That's a lot. I didn't mean to, she added. But now that it's started, it won't. Stop. Suddenly, her face went pale. What is it? James asked. She gasped. Someone's nearby. Someone with dark thoughts. Hunting thoughts. Tracker? Yes. James grabbed his coat. Let's move now. But it was already too late. A loud thud shook the building. The door downstairs blew open. Heavy boots climbed the stairwell. Leary's breathing quickened. He's here. James looked around. There's no way down. There is, she said, stepping to the edge of the rooftop. But you won't like it. Tell me. She grabbed his hand. Trust me. And then they jumped. They landed hard in a dumpster behind the building. James groaned. You couldn't have chosen something softer? We're alive, she sighed, already pulling them out. That's soft enough. Sirens lit up behind them. A robotic voice shouted, LIRI 7 unit. You have violated treaty law. Surrender or be terminated. James looked at her. Leary 7? She didn't meet his eyes. It's not a name, it's a model number. His voice lowered. You're not just a girl, are you? I was created to heal. But they feared I'd learn to fight. So they locked me into contracts, one night at a time. One owner at a time. James looked at her differently now. Not just a rental, not even just an alien. She was built and caged. They ran into the tunnels. As they ran, Leary whispered, They'll come faster now. I used too much power. How much time do we have? Not enough. They found a rusted maintenance door. She waved her hand over the locket, clicked open, with a flicker of her energy. Inside was darkness, but not just any darkness. Something moved at the far end. Something not human. Liri froze. James whispered, What is that? She stepped back slowly. That, she said, is something worse than a tracker. And that's when James realized he hadn't just bought a girl. He had stepped into a war. He wasn't born. He was built. Not like Leary, delicate, warm and glowing with life. No, the tracker had no warmth left. He was cold metal stitched to alien muscle, a hybrid of two enemy worlds, made for one purpose, to find what doesn't want to be found. The tracker crouched by the rooftop edge where Leary and James had jumped. He touched the railing with a silver finger, a small spark. Data flickered across his visor. She's bonding, he whispered. Too fast, too deep. He stood up. Terminate the human first, he said into his cum. Then retrieve her alive or shattered. Below the city, deep inside the tunnel, James and Leary were breathing hard. James leaned against the wall. We can't keep running forever. We don't have to, Leary said. He looked at her. What do you mean? She hesitated. There's a man, a scientist. Human. He used to help our kind. Before the government made it illegal. What kind of help? Freedom, she whispered. He can cut the bond. Remove my ID tag. Make me no one, James stared. And what happens after that? I disappear, James frowned. And me? You go home. The words hung in the air like smoke. Suddenly, Leary froze. Her eyes flashed violet. He's here, she whispered. The tracker. James pulled her into a side room, a storage cell full of broken pipes and dust. Can he sense you? He asked. He can smell my energy. And me? She looked at him scared. You're linked to me now. That means yes. James cursed under his breath. Then we fight. No, she said. You fight, you die. He didn't argue. But he didn't back down either. Footsteps echoed in the tunnel. Slow, deliberate. Each one closer than the last. Then silence. James peeked through a crack. Nothing. But Leary's hand clutched his shoulder. Don't look, she whispered. He's already watching. James turned. The tracker stood behind them. His voice was deep, robotic, cruel. Unit Leary 7, you broke your code. You touched the human with life force. James stepped forward. She saved me. That was not permission, the tracker said. It was rebellion. You people treat her like property. She is. No, James said. She's a person. Without warning, the tracker lunged. Leary threw up. A shield light flashed and sizzled against the wall. Sparks flew. James rolled aside. Dust choked the air. Run! She shouted. No, James yelled back. Not without you. The tracker's metal fist punched through the wall where James had just been. Leary's body began to glow. Not gently. Like before, but brighter, unstable. Her voice trembled. If I do this, I won't be the same. Then don't, James said. We'll find another way. But the tracker was too close. He raised a shock weapon, aimed at James, and that's when Leary stepped into the blast. Her scream echoed through the tunnel as lightning surged through her. James cried out. Leary! She collapsed to the ground, smoke rising from her skin. The tracker smiled, but only for a second, because suddenly her body rose. Hovering. Eyes glowing pure. White. Hair floating. She looked no longer like a girl, not even like an alien. She looked like power. The tracker stepped back. This is not permitted. Leary raised her hand. You should not have touched him. A pulse of energy exploded from her chest. The tracker flew backward, crashing into the tunnel wall, metal breaking apart. Sparks flying. And then nothing. Silence. Only the sound of Leary falling into James's arms. Her voice was faint. I couldn't control it. James held her close. You saved me. Again, her skin was cold, her eyes dimming. I need time, she whispered. I'll give you all of it, he said. But deep in the ruins of the tunnel, the tracker's come sparked once more, and a new voice answered the call. Send the collector. She slept for 3 days, not because she was tired, because she was changing. James didn't leave her side. He cleaned her wounds. He brought food, though she didn't eat. He watched the rise and fall of her chest like it was the only thing keeping the world together. In those 3 days, no one knocked. No one found them. It felt almost safe, but James knew better. Safety was just a break between storms. On the 4th morning, her eyes opened. Not violet, not white. Gray. Soft, sad, and fully awake. James blinked. You're back. Leary sat up slowly. Not all the way. What happened to your eyes? She touched her cheek. I used too much. Burned something inside me. You almost died, James said. Again. I almost killed too, she replied. There was something in me, something I couldn't control. James looked at her carefully. Would you do it again? Her answer came fast. Yes, why? She stared at him. Because you looked at me like I was worth saving. That night, They sat on the roof of an abandoned train station. Leary wrapped in a borrowed coat. James leaning back on a rusted solar panel. They didn't talk much. Just looked at the stars. She spoke first. On my planet, we used to believe in light. Spirits, they watched us from the sky, guided the lost. James pointed up. You think they're still watching? She smiled weakly. No, but maybe something else is. Then she reached for his hand. Not by accident. Not because she was scared. Because she wanted to. James squeezed gently. What happens if we keep going? We survive, she said. And after that? Leary hesitated. I've never lived long enough to think about after. He turned toward her. Then maybe it's time you do. They kissed under a cracked satellite dish, surrounded by broken glass and old rainwater. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. And for once, the galaxy felt small and quiet. But far below, something else had arrived. Not a tracker, not a soldier. Tall, pale being in black robes, surrounded by floating drones. The collector. Its voice didn't speak out loud. It simply echoed in the minds of those nearby. The healer has crossed her limits. She must be contained. Back at the station, Leary sat up suddenly, her eyes wide, her body tense. James woke instantly. What is it? She shook her head. I felt something cold. Watching. Another tracker? No, worse. Her. Hands began to glow again, flickering like a dying flame. We have to go, she said. James didn't argue. But when he grabbed the emergency bag, she stopped him. James. He turned. Yeah? She stepped forward. If I lose control again, I need you to stop me. He frowned. What do you mean? I mean if I turn into something else, something dangerous, promise me you won't let it hurt anyone. James looked her in the eyes and lied. I promise. They disappeared into the night. Together. One human. One alien girl. Running from the past. Running from hunters. Running toward something neither of them had ever known. A future. But the collector was already close. And it wasn't just hunting. Liri. It was here for her bonded human. Asterisk. They weren't soldiers. They weren't trackers. They were her own people. And they came for her. It started with a sound. Not loud. Not violent. Just a hum. A tone that only Leary could hear. She stopped mid-step. Eyes wide. Breath frozen. James looked at her. What is it? She didn't answer. She was listening and remembering. They had reached the edge of the outer ring, where the sky was always gray. And the only law was distance. A quiet outpost run by aliens, exiled humans, and anyone who wanted to disappear. Had barely settled in. A safe room, a clean mattress, a kettle that still worked. Then came the hum. They found me, she whispered. James stiffened. The trackers? No, she said, voice cold. The Zalari, your people? She nodded. Once. They're not here to help. That night, James dreamed of drowning. He woke up choking. Not on water, but on air that wasn't his. The room was full of blue light. Standing at the door were three tall, pale beings, Zalari like Leary, but older, stronger, wearing robes with glowing lines. One stepped forward. You've been contaminated, it said to Leary. She stood up, calm. I chose this. You bonded with a human. I saved him. You broke sacred law. Leary took James's hand. And I'd do it. Again. The second Zalari raised its hand. James was flung against the wall by invisible force. His head cracked against the metal. Leary cried out, but the third one blocked her path. You are coming with us, it said. No, you have no choice. Leary's eyes began to glow, but weaker than before. She was drained. Still recovering. You will be returned, they said. You will be cleansed. You will forget. James staggered to his feet, blood on his face. You touch her again, he said, and I'll kill you. The three Zalari turned to him, emotionless. You are unimportant. They said, but I'm hers, James growled. And she's mine. In that moment, something changed. Leary's glow intensified, not white, not violet, but gold. A new color, a new strength. The air around her vibrated. I'm not yours anymore. She said to them, you were created by us. No, she said. I was stolen by you, grown in a lab. Taught to serve, taught to obey. But I learned something you never did. They stared. She stepped forward, gold light pulsing from her hands. I learned to choose. The blast was small but precise, enough to throw the three Zalari out of the room. Enough to grab James and run. They didn't make it far. Outside the outpost, the sky was filled with drones. And floating in the center, the collector. Its voice flooded her mind. You are out of control. Leary held James close, her body trembling, her light flickering. The collector's drones formed a circle. You were meant to heal, not feel. You were designed to serve, not love. James stepped in front of her. She's not yours anymore, he said. The collector paused, then spoke louder. Then she dies. As a threat. Energy bolts flew. James grabbed Leary and dove behind. A rusted vehicle. Debris flew in every direction. She looked at him, barely able to speak. I can stop them, she whispered. But I won't survive it. No, he said. You don't get to choose this time. She kissed him, quick, soft. Final. Then she stood. Arms lifted. Her body rose above the ground, and she unleashed everything. A gold wave of power swept through the valley. Drones shattered. The collector screamed. The Zalari recoiled. And then, silence. She fell. James ran to her. Her skin was pale, her breath shallow. You saved me again, he whispered, holding her tightly. She smiled faintly. I didn't want to forget. Forget what? That I was more than what they made me. She closed her eyes. And for the first time in her life, she was free. She didn't die. Not exactly. But the light inside her, the golden fire that made her more than just a lab-grown alien girl, was fading fast. James carried her in his arms, through ash and smoke, down into the ruins of what used to be safety. Didn't know where he was going. He just knew he had to get her away from it all. Leary's breathing was shallow. Her skin, once glowing, was pale gray. Every few minutes her fingers twitched. A reflex. Like her body was trying to remember how to stay alive. James laid her gently on the ground of an old shelter, deep underground. She blinked slowly. Still here? He smiled, though it hurt. I'm stubborn. She gave a weak laugh. Good. But he could see it in her eyes. She was slipping away. Even the bond between them, the strange thread that once let her feel his thoughts, was growing cold. James knelt beside her. There has to be a way. There isn't, she whispered. I used too much. It was all I had. No, he said. Not yet. Not like this. That's when he remembered. Something the scientist she once mentioned had told him quietly, long ago, before they ever fled the city. There's a way to rewrite them. One chance, a genetic transfer, human DNA, full override. Dangerous, illegal, but it's been done. He never thought he'd need it. Now it was the only thing left. James carried Leary again. Hours passed. His legs trembled. But he didn't stop. Found the old lab, hidden under what used to be a hospital. Dust, cold lights. A single terminal still alive. A hollow interface blinked. Gene rewrite. Insert subject. James laid her down on the table. She looked up at him, her voice barely a breath. You're sure? He nodded. I'm not losing you. Her eyes shimmered, just a flicker of the girl she used to be. It won't be me. He held her hand. Then I'll fall in love with you again. The machine came alive. Lights spun. Tubes moved. Cold metal wrapped around her body. James stepped back as the chamber closed. Her last words before it sealed. Don't forget me, minutes felt like hours. The machine hummed. Then stopped. Silence. The door hissed open. Smoke rolled out. And then a figure stepped out. Same face, Same eyes, but her skin was warmer. Her glow gone. Liri was human. She stumbled, fell forward. James caught her. Leary? She blinked. James? His heart caught in his throat. You remember? She nodded slowly. Everything. She touched her face. I feel different. You are, he said. No more tracking, no more contracts, no more power, no more danger, she said softly. No more cages. He added. She smiled. And this time it wasn't tired. It was free. They walked out together, not running, not hiding. For the first time they weren't fugitives, just a man and the girl he once rented for one night, but bought forever.